Browns head coaching candidates definitely skew to the, I feel like young, it's the correct word in this instance, but it's the inexperienced, I think, more for a lot of people of like, and I don't want it to come off the wrong way, but it's guys who haven't been OCs long, it's guys who haven't been OCs at all, and then obviously you have your Jim Schwartz, you have your Todd Munkins who have done the coordinator thing for a very long time, Jim obviously doing the head coach thing previously. But I do kind of turn around, and I have had so many people and multiple different platforms look at me and go, why would the Browns be taking a risk right now, right? Why is this the time that you're going to go through and take a risk? To the point where I turn around, I'm just kind of like, why is this not the time you're taking a risk, right? Like, I look at it, if there was a slam dunk hire, if you had a guy who was proven as a head coach, like Sean McDermott, if you tell me, I need to go get that guy, okay, like he's proven it, he's a winner, I know exactly what I have in him. I look over at every other candidate, and I'm like, there's risks built into all of these guys that I don't know are so much different than the younger risks. They're just different risks that I'm looking at. Like, why not take my stab and try to find my quote-unquote next Sean McVay, right? I hate that idea of a term because you're not finding Sean McVay 2.0, basically in anybody. That guy is a one piece, an absolute wonder that just happened to be hiding. But it turned around, it's like, why am I going to sit here and, like, I almost think it's as much of a risk to go, okay, I'm going to make Jim Schwartz my head coach, right? He's here, players like him, but at the same time, the only experience that I have as Jim coaching as a head coach was in Detroit, where, quite frankly, didn't work out that well. And if I settle for, well, this is the safe option, safe is not getting the Browns to a Super Bowl, and it's not getting them a deep playoff run. It's going to get them to, you might be competitive, you might make a playoff game, you might win a playoff game. You're probably not doing much more than that, the like tight 3-year window that you have with this defense of Myles Garrett.
Well, Jim in Detroit lost almost twice as many games as he won. Now, right. The plus side of that is when he took over the Lions, they were coming off a winless season, and within 3 years, he had them in the playoffs. Right. But they had no staying power whatsoever, okay? It's great that the players love him. I really don't care if the players love him. I'm not interested in whether or not the players love the coach. I'm interested, yes, in what the players have to say about him as a coach. Yes, that part I am. But as from a decision-making process portion of it, yeah, I don't care. I'm not interested in whether or not you like the coach, okay? Because typically if you like the coach, you're not getting the best results out of your players. And as far as taking a chance, look, none of these guys excite me. None of them. Jim Schwartz, no, okay. Todd Monken, yeah, no, don't care. Grant Udinski, yeah, all right. What's he accomplished? Nate Scheelhaase, oh, okay, he takes Sean McVay's genius, computerizes it, and helps present it to the team. Okay. And then Jesse Minter, who's a little older, has a little more experience, and I think should be a head coach. Okay, but he's never been a head coach before. None of these guys excite me. None of these guys make me want to pound the table for them and get fans hyped up about them. All of them are a risk, except for Sean McDermott. Like that, Mike McDaniel took his took his name out of the hat today. But none of these guys really are easy to sell to fans because they're young, as you said, and inexperienced outside of Schwartz and Monken. We're down to 5. We need a 6th. They're going to have to pick a 6th at some point. I'd say in the next 24 to 48 hours, we're going to have a 6th name, okay? Because they're going to have to interview somebody else. Right. Because, like I said, Mike McDaniel's not coming to Cleveland for his interview. So they're going to have to find another name to throw into the hat. But none of these guys excite me. I'm sorry. Like, I'd love to get fans all excited and be like, hey, that's the guy the Browns absolutely have to have. Got to have that guy. It does not exist in their coaching search.
Yeah, but that's kind of my point, right? It's like I look around these guys, there's not the pound the tape guy. Like, who's to say that Grant Udinski is any worse of a hire? Like, there's going to be people who come out, and this is going to be true of all, but I've seen people on social media already starting and there's both sides. If it's not Grant Udinski, then it was a failed hire. If it's not Udinski or Scheelhaase. And there's people who are, well, if it's not Jim Schwartz, you botched the hire. Like, there's nothing here to go off of to say, like, this candidate is 1,000% the guy. There's cycles like that. Don't get it wrong. Like, there's cycles to look at it and go, you should probably pick that guy. Like, he's in front of you and have an opportunity, and he is the best option for you. I just don't feel that same way.
Well, for me, I think Schwartz, I'm much more excited than Schwartz than you guys are. Mm-hmm. And here's why. Is that, first of all, he didn't have a lot of success in Detroit. Daryl brought up a good point, came off the winless season. but you'd like to think a guy has improved, right? So we're basing that on what he did in Detroit. I like to base it on what he's done in Cleveland. I'd like to base it on what he's done with his defense. And to Daryl's point, if you watch him coach every single day, this isn't a guy who says, attaboy, and you're doing great. This is a guy that's in their face. This is a guy who's very structured, very organized. And what he brings is at least for me, he brings a little bit less chaos in the unknown, right? The CEO part of it. Doesn't mean he's going to do it best or do it right. It just means for me, the how you're going to run your organization, he's had to do it before. So I like him in that, now you get him and then you go out and get a Scheelhaase or Udinski as your offensive coordinator. Now you got the CEO part a little bit. Your defense is still pretty solid because he's going to bring that mentality, and now you bring in an offensive guy. But for me, I try to base it on what I've seen him here in Cleveland because you'd like to think he improved, right? Yep. Like there's coaches, maybe not, and people have been really hot with me because, this doesn't work out. But maybe it will for him because he's had to step back and just be the defensive guy. I don't know. I think he brings a little bit more stability to that defense, which is the only stable thing they have on that of all three phases.
I'm going to get nuts here for a minute. I'm going to throw a theory at you. I think that potentially as part of that second interview, they ran a name or two by him. Would you be willing to remain on as the defensive coordinator with a little maybe extra in your check, plus we'll give you an assistant head coach or whatever, right? And then let's just say they hire Grant Udinski when the dust settles, right? We go through this whole – let's say –
actively the betting favorite, by the way, on the markets that offer it.
But then they circle back and bring in Nate Scheelhaase to be the offensive coordinator. Because right now he's just a pass game specialist. He's not a coordinator. It would be a promotion for him. Or, all right, let's flip this, right? What if they name Nate Scheelhaase the head coach and they bring in another young guy to be the coordinator, right? And so you get two of the up-and-coming young football geniuses. Because, listen, the Cleveland Browns love them some football geniuses, okay? They do. Like, that, they just do. I think I'll leave it at that. But, I don't know. I don't think that's, the worst idea in the world, where you keep Schwartz. He stays in his role, give him a little extra money, make him happy, but you have your young offense, because that's where they need the help, man. They need the help, offense and special teams, okay?
But I think that's part of the problem I have, too. Is okay, so you can go get those guys as an OC, right? We just saw one, far from a guarantee. One, I think you didn't.
Todd Monken, bring Todd Monken back?
Well, I think the two things you have going for you is that something that Schwartz wants to do? Because ultimately you're going to give him the power to probably try to build out his own staff, even on the offensive. We talked about that Rolodex. Schwartz definitely has one. He's got guys that he's worked with. And at the same time, we assume, maybe you can go get a Scheelhaase as an OC. It's an upgrade. Scheelhaase is in a candidacy for 4 other of the 6 open head coaching positions.
Right.
There's nothing to say that you don't look at both Pittsburgh and Baltimore have him on their list. That guy could get poached as a head coach.
And you're trying to play keep away. Let me ask you both this when it comes to Schwartz. I kind of feel like if they do promote Schwartz, it's only going to be a 1 or 2 year situation.
It's probably true. I mean, unless they have success, right?
Well, they're not going to, because this offense has to be rebuilt from the ground up. But I really believe that if they do promote Schwartz, he'll either be fired in the next 12 months or the next 24 months. It's not going to be a long-term hire.
Well, I'm with you on Scheelhaase. So Scheelhaase, Udinski, if you look at those guys, when I look at it, I go, I want that guy coaching my offense, because the offense is from the studs. You're building from the studs. I don't want him to have CEO responsibilities at this point in time. He's a young guy. This whole kind of overwhelming you. For me, I'm hiring Schwartz. I don't care how long he's here. I'm talking for next year. Even if you have a plan to have one of those guys be your guy down the road, have that guy focus on offense. Learn maybe he's the assistant head coach to Schwartz, because then Schwartz can handle the CEO part of it. This guy can draft who he needs for his offense. I don't know. I'm same kind of thing the opposite way. But for me, these young guys are being brought in because of their offensive mind. I want those guys to be doing that for now. Right? Let's have them learn the CEO part of what it means to run an organization. But if you're doing all that, you're not going to have the input that you have if you're just the OC.
So I think part of my problem on that, and maybe this is where we look at different. Like you look to next year and say the best opportunity. I look at it as in my lifetime, I've watched the Browns cycle through coach after coach. I'd like the little stability. If I go and I give, okay, let's have Grant Udinski learn the CEO stuff.
You got 6 years of Stefanski. What else do you want?
More success. I'd like some sustained success while guys here longer.
Details.
Yeah. But like Udinski, if you bring him here and made him play caller, Scheelhaase, it doesn't make a difference. That guy has a success. If he helps turn around the offense, it doesn't even have to be like the Browns offense is unbelievable. It just has to be Browns offense looks a hell of a lot better than it did last year. That guy's a head coach next year. Like, that guy is getting the opportunity. You go through, as soon as I hire a defensive-minded head coach, which the only two we have to go off of are Minter, which shakes up your entire defense more likely than not, or rehiring Jim Schwartz. I now have to trust Jim Schwartz in this organization to re-find me an offensive coordinator every year, every 2 years. If you're hiring the young, I'm in the boat where I'd rather just take the risk. If you think that guy 2 years down the line can be the CEO type, can do all the things that a head coach can do, I'm willing to let that guy learn on the job a little bit. Like, if you really trust in the hiring process and you trust in, hey, we're getting a guy who's going to be a great head coach, I'd hope that, opposed to Daryl's point on Jim Schwartz, maybe you give that guy a little leash, right? Maybe it struggles the first couple of years. Guy's learning on the job. But maybe that's your coach for the next decade to 2 decades.
Yes,
and
because what I want while you're going through a rebuild is a coach that's learning how to do the job. Awesome.
Well, I want a guy, but
wouldn't this be the time though?
But like, don't you want a guy that we're winning's the most important thing? Like I always think about, like I agree with the great teams retool, they don't rebuild, and it seems like we're always rebuilding. Like I would want, like if I'm hiring Schwartz, I'm telling myself I want to win next year. Maybe not going to win, right? But I'm not saying that. I'm going to go out and I'm going to hire Schwartz. I'm going to get one of these young offensive guys who's brilliant. I'm going to say I just want you to coach offense right now, right? I'm going to have Schwartz bring in one of his guys because he's got a Rolodex because he's older. But for me, I always feel like when they draft in the second, third round, or when they're hiring guys, it's always down the road. Like, it doesn't mean it doesn't have to be like that, but how about right now? How about, like, what are we doing to win next year? Like, because you're a lot younger than me, but there hasn't been a lot of success since 99, right? So maybe the thought process has to be we're going to win right now, and we're going to do everything we can to win right now, with the idea that down the road we're going to, maybe we do have to take a little bit of lumps if it's, Udinski, but I think the focus has got to be winning right now.
You know the last time the Browns went with the up-and-coming offensive genius?
Please sell.
Freddie Kitchens.
Well, okay, I don't know that anybody paid in Freddie Kitchens as a young offensive genius.
I don't know
if that was the sell anybody was making on him.
No, it absolutely was, because he was promoted to offensive coordinator when Hugh Jackson was fired, and they kind of did a little house cleaning there in the middle of the season, and they promoted Greg Williams to be the interim head coach. They promoted Freddie Kitchens to be the interim offensive coordinator, and they went through their coaching search in that offseason, and they gave the job to Freddie Kitchens. Freddie Kitchens was just about as qualified to be the head coach as Nate Scheelhaase is, or Grant Udinski is.
But this is not me saying that this is a foolproof plan. Like, you might hire Grant Udinski and he might flame out and he might be the worst. He might be Freddie Kitchens 2.0.
Well, I don't think anyone's going to be Freddie Kitchens 2.0.
I sure hope not.
That was a very unique experience, and I'm going to leave that at that.
But the range of outcomes is certainly wider. Like, I could be getting, yes, as much as I hate it, you could be getting Sean McVay. I could be getting an absolute pile of trash and nothing, too. That's up to the Browns to make that decision of what guy I'm actually getting, or what I'm leaning closer to.
You want another guy? Rob Chudzinski, who bounced back and forth from being a coordinator to a position coach, right? Hired him. He was a one-and-done, too. They don't do very well with the young, up-and-coming whippersnappers.
They just don't do very well at all.
Well,
they've hired the retread guys, and they've stunk, too.
Well, there's got to be, remember, the best coaches have the best players. That's part of the issue, too. They have not had the people. If you think about Schwartz being on defense, and everybody's talking about, and me included, how great Schwartz has been the last 3 years. He's got pretty good personnel on that side of the ball. Let's be completely honest. Good coaches come with good players.
Are you trying to say if he didn't have Myles Garrett, Carson Schlesinger, Grant Delpit, and Denzel Ward, maybe he might not have been as good of a defensive coordinator the last 3 years?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Listen, I
going out on a limb, right?
Just wanted to clarify your comments.
And if you look at like McVay, you look at all these guys. There's a lot to do with the people you're only as good as the people you have, and that's where the Browns' offense has really, really struggled. They don't have any personnel.